Good evening, everyone. We are the ANAHUAC Mexico University team. Fernando, Carlos, Diego, Alejandra, and Marisol. And today, we are pleased to present you our analysis and hold recommendation on Cemex stock, which is one of the top 5 cement and concrete producers throughout the world, with presence in over 50 countries. We have a 12-month target price of 17.17 Mexican pesos, with an expected return of 12.13% to the closing price, supported by the following value drivers. A mature company deeply aligned to the global cement industry behavior, with a management team that averaged 23 years of experience. Its focus on lowering debt. Sales growth based on price increases. Its current rates of return over invested capital, and its exposure to risk such as cement overproduction originated in China and political risk in Cemex's largest markets. Based on this strategy, the company is reducing its financial cost and expenses by improving its free cash flow and expanding its debt maturity. Likewise, Cemex is focused on a divestiture strategy by selling specific assets in order to settle its obligations.
Concrete industry is going through a difficult period. Due to global underperformance since 2008 crisis. During 2017, the world produced 4 billion metric tons of concrete, which represents $300 billion in revenue. Asia, Europe, and Latin America have almost the same revenue volatility. Nevertheless, Asian market is 2 times bigger than Europe and 5 times bigger than Latin America. North America has the biggest compound annual growth rate with 124%, followed by Latin America with 75%, and Europe and Asia with 5% each. Cemex's core business is backed up by its value over cost strategy, by prioritizing high margin markets and getting rid of low profit assets.
Now I will proceed with the Cemex financial analysis. During the period comparison between 2012 and 2017, Cemex sales growth came from sales price increases instead of volume increase. For example, in 2015 and in 2016, Cemex increased its prices by 16 and 17% respectively. Its EBITDA margins are deeply aligned with that of the industry, which range 16 and 20%. Moreover, Cemex effort to reduce its debt was impacted in the debt to free cash flow ratio reduction from 12.3 times in 2013 peak to 3.5 times in 2017. That improvement came from divestments and net working capital reduction. As a result of our analysis, we found that Cemex has been destroying value since 2003 because its ROIC is below its cost of capital. ROIC was impacted due to the 107 basis point reduction in the annual average EBITDA margin during the period 2003-2017. In order to improve its ROIC, Cemex management has taken action by limiting its annual capex to 3 billion Mexican pesos in order to reduce its asset space.
Now it is my turn to explain our investment valuation of CEMEX. Our analysis focuses on point number 3 of McKinsey Pentagon, which consists in estimating the potential value with internal improvements of CEMEX stock. We have used two different valuation methods. The first one is based on the income approach, which is known as the discounted cash flows valuation, or DCF. The second one is based on the market approach, and it is known in finance as relative valuation, and of course we're going to explain right now the main inputs of our DCF valuation. We have estimated the net sales annual growth rate of CEMEX with a result in a range of 5% to 6.5% compound annual growth rate for the next 5 years. As a discount rate, we have used the weighted average cost of capital based on the capital assets pricing model with a result of 9.39 WACC. Also, we have cash flows to the firm of CEMEX using a 14% EBIT between sales ratio as our main value driver. For the terminal value, we have used the exit multiple method with a result of 7.13 enterprise value EBITDA multiple, which was the lowest of our market sample as a very conservative measure. In addition, for our peers valuation, we have used a 9.11 enterprise value EBITDA multiple, which resulted as the industry median. As a conclusion, for the valuation part, we have estimated a target price of 17.17 Mexican pesos with a 70% weight on DCF and a 30% weight on peers. Thank you.
We have identified 10 potential risks that could affect CEMEX's performance, but the 4 most likely to occur and with the most material impact are the following. First, exchange rate. Most of its debt is denominated in foreign currency. 69% is in US dollars and 23% is in euros. Therefore, the goal to decrease its debt could be affected by the fluctuation between these currencies and the Mexican peso. Second, interest rate. 28% of the long-term debt is in floating rates, which could be affected by an increasing of the rates. Third, grade by rating agencies. If agencies decide to downgrade the actual grade of CEMEX, the company will face a negative impact in the interest rates. Fourth, strategy. Divestiture strategy can cause a loss of positioning and market share for CEMEX, preventing them to reaching their growth goals. Finally, despite all these risks have already been detected by the company, and in order to get ahead on having a better control of them, we believe CEMEX should make some improvements, such as having a cap floor interest rate of the floating rate debt, and also by evaluating the business lines in each country in a risk-return context with a RAROC analysis.
To sum up, we consider that the company has the ability to improve significantly its operating margins. The stock price shows potential value with internal improvements, and CEMEX keeps its lowering debt strategy in order to achieve the investment grade.
Therefore, that is why we keep our hold recommendation until the market gets or settles in a better certainty market. Nowadays, people know the price of everything but the value of nothing. Oscar Webb.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time and your attention. Now we will move to the Q&A section. Thanks.
Thank you for your presentation. Two questions. I didn't see your analysis of competitors or markets what are the macro fundamentals of every market where Cemex is. And also, I didn't see any thoughts about the geographical integration, products, how's the demand supply of every product, and so I don't know if you can elaborate on that.
Well, we try to focus mainly on the global scale, so we don't have in the paper the GDP of every country. But we search for the countries where Cemex has a more potential to grow and a more potential to be a good competitor. So we established that Europe it's a good country. Well, it's a good place where we can where Cemex can grow the same as United States. They have almost the same mix for the world because they only change the name of the products. But almost is the same product. They change more or less it will be the brand. Yes, the brand of every product.
So, did you make an analysis of every competitor in every region, in every country? What is the demand, supply for every product that Cemex offer? What is the capability of growing in each country, and you summarize that in a certain analysis, or did you only did it top down?
No, we make we took the it will be the revenues of every country, and we make the analysis based on the revenues. So we look at the possible growth they could have. We also look at the GDP for region, and in specific countries where we look at good revenues for Cemex, there we make the analysis. There we did the analysis as the in a specific points.
What is the EBITDA of Cemex in Mexico? Total of the whole company.
As of this year, 2017 was over $1.1 billion.
What percentage of the company?
We're talking about as a percentage of revenues, EBITDA is 18.4% EBITDA over sales.
Thank you.
Well, firstly, congratulations. I couldn't stay since the beginning of your presentation, but I don't know if you comment something about the fiscal reform that has been approved in the United States last year, and I don't know if you have something to comment about the impact of this reform for Cemex.
Yes, we have.
My case. Okay, well, in the case of the income tax, we took a conservative approach because Cemex is a Mexican-based company. Its effective tax rate is 30%. We know that model would consider some benefits based on the President Trump tax reform to reduce interest rate close to 20%.
We have, as a part of the infrastructure that the United States is going to implement, we have the plan they are going to use, that as is $200 billion incentive plan in a time of 10 years. So it is going to be used as 50% for grants. So every project will have to be sponsored only by 20% by federal funding and 80% by state funding. So we think that it will be hard for the states to grow the infrastructure as Trump it's proposing. So it will be difficult for Cemex to grow as they expect in the United States.
Very good presentation. I have two questions. The first one is regarding the recommendation. You're saying that you're recommending a hold, but not a sell. And my question is, the expected return you have is 12%. However, if you buy today government debt, you will be buying 1 year close to 8%. You can also buy private debt, even CEMEX debt, short-term debt at above 9%. So for an additional 3%, you're saying, hold. I would say, you know, for 3% with a big downside, if you're wrong, stay out. And in your last slide, you were saying hoping for better times. Why don't you hope for a better time buying a government debt and waiting for a much better entry level? And the second one, you didn't mention in the presentation the geopolitical risk, but you did in the paper, and you were saying that on one side, we are going to face, as we all know, in July, presidential elections in Mexico. And you're mentioning that revenues depends on the national infrastructure plan. So are you seeing the presidential elections and a political year as a risk or as an opportunity for CEMEX?
Okay. For the valuation question, we are recommending a hold because we think that that this stock has a lot of potential. That's why we have been mentioning the McKinsey Pentagon of corporate restructuring, because when we run the DCF model and the relative valuation model, the fundamentals of the company gave us very important measures, and that of course we had to be very conservative about our final stock price recommendation. So that 12% of course is taking in account some of the risks, but of course in the mid-term and in the long term we think it's an interesting investment, and of course we wanted to be conservative, and of course thinking that all this potential that the company has, we have to give the management of CEMEX some time to prove that the stock price should be a little bit higher.
And about geopolitical risk, we consider that as a risk because this year is going to be very volatile. So we think that that risk could affect if you buy now. But if you sell the action now as an investor, you would be getting the loss. So that's why we keep on a hold recommendation.
In addition to what Marcel said, we believe that it's a hold also because of the risks we have already identified, and one of the risks that we identified was the presidential elections, and also it's going to depend on the president that is going to come. If that president have infrastructure plans or some government plans that could affect or could have good points for CEMEX. That's why it's a hold.
In addition, the metric for construction has grown 3.6% real. So that was the last announcement they did. So it's starting to go up. So we think it's going to continue.
Okay.
Well, in terms of on the valuation, when you compare to peers, which represents 30% of your valuation, how comparable was the company with the peers in terms of the capital structure of the company and in terms of the geographical base of the company? Was it clear that these competitors were useful and trustful in terms of doing a comparison analysis?
Well, the competitors we use in the mix for the peers valuation were other larger global players, such as Lafarge, CRH, and other larger ones. But based on that mix, we obtained that media of the ratio of enterprise value over EBITDA we use for our peers valuation.
Yes, and of course it was a very important tool. We had an access to the Capital IQ website, so we had very useful multiple information. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks. Thank you.
Right.